There we go. All right, what is going on? What is going on? What is going on? Hopefully, you guys can see me. I'm on YouTube and I'm on Instagram right now. But I just really wanted to go live for a reason because I started this new thing with my family where we actually we have family nights on Fridays. Sometimes it's fun, sometimes it's business, but the last past 2 weeks has been all business. And so really just helping. Really, we use the book Powernomics. If you don't have it already, I strongly encourage you all to get the book Powernomics. And really, I wanted to take something actually from page 75. I was listening to Dr. Boyce Watkins. I listened to a lot of what Dr. Boyce Watkins says, and also what Dr. Andrew, Dr. Sorry, Anderson, Dr. Anderson. I don't know why I almost messed up on it. It's late. I had to get ready for bed. Dr. Claude Anderson, um, the author of Powernomics. But I follow a lot of their principles, and Powernomics actually has something that I think is very important. And it's a lot like during the elections, a lot of people, especially like people like Ice Cube and a few other celebrities, tried to create something that was specifically and solely for Black people. Unfortunately, Black people did not want to receive what Black Black people did not want to receive what he was trying to give us, which was a plan, right? Some form of like, this is what we want in exchange for our vote. But unfortunately, Black people were the ones who attacked Ice Cube for that, and several other people. Nevertheless, I began to realize through Dr. Claude Anderson and also through Dr. Boyce Watkins that I didn't have to wait for every Black person in America to be on board. I could actually start implementing some of the tools and things that I'm learning actually with my own family. And so tonight, one of the things that we began working on was we watched 15 minutes Dr. Boyce Watkins lecture about money, and then we also I began sharing with them something that's actually in Dr. Claude Anderson's book, Powernomics, on page 74. He talks about a code of conduct and a group accountability. And he talks about how Black people need a code of conduct. Basically, how we establish. Matter let me just read. It says right here that it's a standard of behavior that outlines what is right and wrong within and outside of the community, right? And it says that it should be carefully taught to Black children so that each generation will know what is expected of it. A lot of cultures actually currently do this. But what happens in the Black community, because a lot of our culture and a lot of who we were was stripped away from us so many hundreds of years ago when we were taken from our different countries and brought here to America, we lost our code of conduct. Like if you go back to certain countries in Africa, they have codes of conduct. You have to behave this way, you have to act this way, whatever it may be. They have codes of conduct. Here in America, Black people do not have that, right? The Asian community have it, the Jewish community have it, the Hispanic community have it, but we currently don't have code of conduct. So instead of waiting for all Black people to get on one page, me and my children, we decided to actually create our own family code of conduct and ethics, right? To outline, what's acceptable behavior, what's not acceptable behavior. And some of it, we went down from cleanliness to, because one of the things that I have to have a clean house. Another thing is, to always make sure, we put God first by keeping the Sabbath, and then to always understand that we are Black before we anything else. And so that's very important to us. And I'll let the kids actually list out a few things that were important to them, and some of the things that were important to them, uh, uh, how we speak to each other, how we communicate, right? And so those are important to them, and those are also important to me, And so we had a family uh, uh, meeting where we created our family code of ethics. And the next layer of this is that we actually have to create. Well, what happens, when someone breaks the code of conduct? Because if you go back to even the company, if you go to your company has a code of conduct too and ethics. This is how we are. This is how we operate. This is exactly, what we do, etc. Right? Everyone does. So why shouldn't your family have one? And again, it's like Dr. Claude Anderson said it in Powernomics that basically it's to, how can we I believe that one of the reasons why the Black community is so confused is because we don't have a code of conduct, right? Let's say we have a Black community and people are robbing and stealing each other, robbing, stealing, and killing each other. Well, what's the code of conduct? Code of conduct says that we do X, Y, and Z. We don't have that structure. So I wanted to create that for my family. So we are working on it. Hopefully we'll be able to draw it out. I'm not really a creative person. I think that if we had a more creative person running it, it would be more fun. So if you have any ideas of how to make it fun, let me know. I'm not a creative person at all. I'd rather just create the code of conduct, pay somebody and make it look pretty, and then hang it up on the wall somewhere. That's easiest for me. But unfortunately, I have kids. Not unfortunately, I have kids, and they require to be uh, entertained a certain way, right? Because they're kids, right? So hopefully next week, what I'll do is I'm going to actually do a probably vision board or something like that. Hey, let's put a family vision board or whatever. So I just wanted to come on here real quickly and encourage you all to begin to create a family code of conducts and ethics. And I did a little Google search and how to create one. What is your I guess some of the questions be, what are some of the family values? What are the expectations? And then, like I said, there are repercussions if you don't follow the code of conduct. Like one of them, I think we put on there. I forgot exactly what it said, but it was about behavior, right? We must always have a united front in public. So that means I don't care what goes on in the house. The moment we step out of this house, we're a united front. We don't throw each other under the bus, nothing like that. We're a united front, and so having that be the code of conduct. Now, what happens if people begin to break those code of conduct? So that's why I got to do the next part of the research, and let the kids also decide what happens if someone, we go in public and someone just embarrassed the whole entire family. I mean, it's just a flat out embarrassment. What happens? Of course, you don't want it to be something extreme like you're kicked out of the family. I mean, that's traumatizing. Some of us don't even have family code of conduct and was kicked out of the family. so so it's important for us to set these code of conducts. And what happens when we break those code of conducts. And I truly believe that if the Black community had a code of conduct, that we would be better off than where we are right now. We have a better understanding and a better way of measuring right from wrong, right? Think about it, how many people come into your neighborhood in the Black community and they're doing inappropriate behaviors. Not even just illegal. I'm talking about inappropriate behaviors. And inappropriate behaviors could be something such as, they're inviting other communities into the community to start businesses. That's inappropriate behaviors. How can we deal with that? The code of conduct would say, all right, you are bringing other businesses into our community not to spend money but to take money from us. Here's how we're going to deal with that situation. Now, some people say that's unrealistic, Sade. It's not unrealistic. China does it all the time. We live in a very individualistic country, Great Britain, America, in very individualistic countries, but countries such as Korea, Japan, those Asian countries, they're very family oriented, where it's not uncommon for people to say we're a family. This is how we conduct ourselves, etc. So for example, and I'll let you go after. I remember I was sitting down with the student. And I said, why is your major this if you don't even like it? And he said, because my mom said I have to major. And I was like, well, you're a grown person. You can do whatever you want. And he said, mm-mm. I was like, wow, that's interesting. Because in my culture, I'm grown, I pay my own, I do whatever I want. But in their culture, it's like, no, the elders have a place, right? Like the elders told your grandma told you not to do that, so you don't do it. So I thought it was very interesting. That those particular, and I believe that it's because once again, we those things were stripped away from us. But now it's time for us to begin to gather things. So here are some resources I would recommend to you guys. I follow Dr. Boyce Watkins. I highly encourage you all to follow Dr. Boyce Watkins. I encourage you to get the book Powernomics, especially if you're Black. This should be in your household. If you have a library full of books and you don't have Powernomics in it, you do not have a book full of, you do not have a library, you have a bunch of papers. You need Powernomics. It's very essential and you can go to powernomics.com, and you can buy it straight from Dr. Claude Anderson. I'll also recommend that you guys go to let me see, what's this website called? It's called Ooh, let me see. I'm blanking on it. The Black Financial. I don't know. Dr. Boyce walking. Oh, got a poor connection on one. Oh, there you go. Dr. Boyce Watkins has just going about Dr. Boyce Watkins website. You'll see all the resources, and that's all I do for my family. I use all the resources that are already there. And yeah, I hope that you all are able to create a code of conduct for your family and code of ethics. Sit down with your family, make it fun if you can. I that's just not me. I will participate but I'm just not a creative person at all. Like I'm just sometimes very black and white. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not good. But yeah, next week for our family meeting, I think we're gonna create a family vision board. Where do we see ourselves? And you know what's so crazy? I'm not even gonna do where we see ourselves in 10 months or I mean 10 years or 5 years. No, I'm gonna do where do we see ourselves in 360 days. So we're gonna put all kind of nice stuff on there. And because I heard a quote from Elon Musk and it said, actually someone else posted it on their page and it said Elon Musk and he said, don't do a 10-year plan. He said put it all in like a few months because even if you don't accomplish all of it, you'll still be further ahead than if you would have created a 10-year plan. So I'm going to put everything in 365. That's where we're going to be at. This is what we're going to be doing, etc. And we're going to do it in a vision board style. That way it's fun for the kids and it's not boring. So we did 15 minutes of watching Dr. Boyce's lecture. Then we had a talk, and then it's also a safe place for people to begin to talk about problems that they may have had in the family. So my kids are always bickering back and forth. He did this, she did this. So it's supposed to be a safe place. I will be honest. I'm not sure if I created that because I have a very short temper and or short fuse. I don't have any patience, and so I just get irritated. I'm like, okay, everyone just stop. You go to your rooms. Yeah. So I'm working on that, but hopefully next week will be better. And then also next week, my goal is to make it a family movie night. So we'll watch something together. Anyways, go out, create a family code of conduct and a family uh, uh, ethics plan for you and your family, and make it fun. Make it fun. Don't do like me. Make it real fun. And you all have a great day. All right. It's me, Shadi Burrell. Stand for something. All right. Turn this off.